Board, and I want to welcome you all. My notes just disappeared there. Sorry about that. This is our fourth diamond call. Is it the fourth? So hopefully you guys are getting a lot out of this, especially our training that we're doing, during the week. Hopefully you guys were all able to keep up with our training this week. Lisa gave some great tips on Success Club and how to hit it and why you need to hit it. And I gave a lot of tips on recruitment so far. And tomorrow I'm going to give you some tips on coach placement. So make sure you watch all the videos if you haven't been able to keep up. Like I was telling somebody on the group today, like they said they had limited internet access or whatever, limited time maybe to sit in front of the computer. I gave you some websites in the comments, if you read those comments, of how you can download YouTube videos to your phone. And you can download them as like an MP4 so that you can play them and watch the video, or you can download them as an MP3 and then just listen to them. And I do that a lot because a lot of these Zoom calls and stuff, we're not really sharing anything, right? You don't really need to see us. So you can just listen, and that way you can multitask. So, if you're driving to work, if you're, in the shower, if you are folding laundry, for me, like I go on long bike rides, I make sure that I have like several hours of personal development or calls or stuff that I can listen to. So think about that, and check out those websites, bookmark them. I use them all the time. So tonight we are going to talk about goal setting, Lisa and I. And I'm going to cover, we're going to give you 10 steps to creating goals. And I'm going to give you 5 steps, and Lisa's going to give you 5 steps, and then Lisa's going to give you some homework. And then if you guys have questions in general or questions about stuff we covered this week, we can talk about those. All right? So let me start off. Make sure you got a pen, paper, whatever you take notes with. Okay, interrupt me if you want, but this is nothing earth-shattering, but I'm sure you guys know it. But, the first thing is your goals need to be reachable, okay? So you need to have specific goals that are reachable. Now, I know we all set these great goals of like, I want to be diamond, right? We all have that goal. Or you guys all have that goal, right? Or, for me, I want to be 10-star, by the end of this year. Or you guys, I want to be diamond within the next 6 weeks, right? But you got to set, that's obviously a reachable goal, but you have to set mini goals in order to help you get there, right? And that's kind of what I was talking about with recruitment. You need to recruit 6 coaches. So that means that every week you need to be recruiting 2 coaches, or whatever at this point, or at least one coach. So set specific goals and then keep working backwards. So okay, I have to recruit 1 coach a week, right, to get 6. And let's say you have none new recruited so far in order to claim the pot, not necessarily to hit diamond, but to claim the pot. So then, it's like you have to get 1 new coach. So how many people do you need to invite to your sneak peek, for example, to this sneak peek in order to get 1 new coach? How many people do you need to, back up? How many people do you need to invite to your free challenge group or into your other challenge group in order to get, 1 coach? So, you really got to step things up. So, let's say, I don't start my next free group until October 1st. Well, don't wait. Start one now. Start recruiting now so that you can step up and hit those intermediate goals to help you get to your big goal, And you can even break it down further. So like, we've talked about vision, right? And stuff like that, right? So you have a bigger vision of what you want to do in this business or what Beachbody can help you do. So set yourself, reachable, measurable goals that will help you get there to that vision. And then, cross them off, set new goals. So do that, every single year. You want some goals that are larger and further out, and then some more, short-term goals, and then, very specific, like weekly goals, in which you got to do every single week in order to hit those goals. So number 2, for creating your goals, they need to be simple, clear, focused. Okay, top achievers do stuff that they've never done before. How many people will you have to talk to today? So basically, that's kind of what I was talking about, simple, clear, focused goals. How many people do you need to talk to today? How many people do you need to invite today? Hopefully you guys, a little side thing here is you all watched that birthday and the A to Z method, which I posted in the Engage group. Okay, let me just see you all. Did everybody watch that? Okay. Okay, great. Because that is a really great way, because most of us have lots of friends that we never talk to, right? And so, just going through that A to Z, and, it's like, I didn't do like the AA like she does. I mean, maybe she has, 5,000 friends, I don't have that many friends yet. So I just did all A's, and it was like, it wasn't that many. It was 10, 20, and I just messaged all A's. And then, today is B's. So I need to go through all my B's, So, I think that works really well for doing invites and setting yourself, setting goals to how many people do you need to talk to a day. And that's a way to reconnect with all your existing contacts, So just a little side note there. Number 3, significant. Your goals have to be worth achieving. Obviously, diamond is a goal that's worth achieving, but you got to know, why do you want that goal? Maybe diamond is not really your goal. Maybe the a money pot is not really your goal. Maybe that's just a step to your ultimate goal, right? I mean, we've all talked about, having that goal of wanting to, maybe the moms wanting to stay home with their kids. Maybe you want to bring your husband home from work. Whatever your ultimate goal is, it has to be significant, worth getting up for, worth staying up late. Like I talked about before, it was Anita Myron when she's, hugging the toilet, sick as a dog, and she's still answering emails and, sending out invites on her phone. It's got to be that significant, your overall goal, and so that you've got to be willing to do the work when you don't feel like it. So make your goal significant, and then, because if your whole goal is to get to diamond, I don't want to name names, Lisa, but we've had people that just get to diamond and they're like, I achieved it, I'm done, I'm out of here. Obviously that was not a significant goal, right? That they did it, they achieved it, now they're done, and now they quit. So you guys have to have something behind that goal, right? Something that's driving you beyond that, Okay, number 4, strategic. Okay, what will you have to do every day to reach that goal? Right, we talked about that. How many invites do you have to do? How many challengers you have to bring in? So make your goals strategic. Number 5 is measurable. Kind of talked about that as well, right? Like I know many of you guys have seen or used the business activity tracker that Beachbody provides. It's a great way for you to set goals of how many people you want to talk to, right? And then at the end of the week, you can say, how many people did I actually talk to? How many people did I actually get in my free group? How many people did I, get to become a coach this week? So, track it, make it measurable. And so specific, simple, reachable, significant. Those are the 5 tips from me. Lisa, you want to go over the rest?
Yeah. So number 6, reachable goals are rational. You need to have a plan in place. Right? When you set a goal for yourself, you just can't walk into it and be like, this is my goal, and then walk away. You need to know how you're going to get there. You need to have a path set out, and you need to have a vehicle. Right? You can't just decide, all right, I'm going to drive to Indiana and not really know how you're going to get there. You need to have a map that tells you, or GPS unit now, that tells you how to get there. You need to know where you're going in order to achieve those goals. You should have goals that are just out of reach, but not out of sight, right? So they should be big goals, but they shouldn't be so big that you know that you can't attain them. So like Greg said, break things down. Like you can have that big, hairy, scary goal. Like one of mine is to walk the stage for the Millionaires Club, but I know that in order to get to that big one, I need to set little tiny ones that I'm going to hit, so that when I have that big one, if I just shoot for that big one and I keep missing it, obviously right now, I'm going to get discouraged. So set smaller goals to help you as kind of like a stepping stone to get to those big, fat, hairy, scary ones. I like the quote, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time, right? So if you don't have a path, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere. So have these goals that are rational and have a plan set in place to get you there. Number 7, our reachable goals are tangible. And I really like this one because when we did this training, this one really like clicked home for me because I'm kind of like a visual person. You need to know what these goals are going to feel like. So let's say that one of your goals was you want to be making enough money that you're going to take like your dream vacation to some beach somewhere. When you have a goal like that, actually in your mind, like visualize what it's going to feel like to be laying out on the beach, right? To feel the sun hitting you, like especially if you're like us here in Chicago come February, I want that sun hitting me. Feel what it's going to feel like to have the sand under your feet. Taste the margarita that's in your hand or whatever your drink of choice is. You want to actually feel those goals. If one of your goals is to pay off the mortgage of your house, what's it physically going to feel like when you walk into the bank and you write that check and you sign it, right? So for me, my husband up until this point, still at this point, he's the breadwinner, right? He's the one that pays these big bills. I want to write one of those big bills. I want to sign my name on it. I want to sign my name on one of those checks and I want to hand it over. So for me, when I visualize what it's going to physically feel like for me to do that and to hand it over, that's what drives me. Right? These goals, you need to actually like taste it, like so that it makes you want to get up early in the morning. You're not ticked to have to wake up early before the rest of the house is up, or you're not upset about having to stay up late because you know that you want that thing so bad, like you can taste it. So when you make these goals, actually have them ignite your senses, right? That's what's going to drive you and make it easier for you to work harder, work later, work longer at this. Right? When things get a little bit disappointing, like when you hit a setback, like you lose a coach or you lose rank, whatever it may be, when you have an off month, which we all have, those goals, when you can smell them and taste them and feel them, that's what keeps you going. Reachable goals are written, right? Write your stuff down. Greg makes fun of me because I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. He made fun of me today because I like took a picture of my written notes. But write things down, right? If they're written down and they're looking you at the face every time you're at your workspace, it's going to be hard to ignore those goals.
And I have to say that Lisa sent me the picture of her notes, and they were scribbled on, they were crumpled up, and I was like, you expect me to read this?
Well, because my baby got a hold of it today, right, with the pen. But whatever, I can read it. But I have, at my workspace, it's funny, my husband makes fun because I have Post-its everywhere. So for each month, I have it broken down what my goal is to hit financially that month. So this month, I want to hit X amount of money, and I'm not, and then when I hit it, I have this, I have done, and I write the day that the date of the time when I achieved that goal. So write things down. People who like dream boards or vision boards, whatever you call them, have that at your workspace so that it's driving you every single day. One of my goals is my husband and I never got to take a honeymoon, and my goal is me. I want to pay for that. I want to surprise him one day and have our bags packed and be like, dude, we're going on our honeymoon. We want to go to Puerto Rico. So I have a picture of Puerto Rico on my screensaver. It's on my laptop. It's on my desktop. Like that's there. So every time I open up my computer, bam, it hits me right in the face and reminds me why I'm doing this. So write stuff down, right? put pictures of what you're going after. If it's like $1 million home, put a picture of that baby next to your computer, or have it be the screensaver. Whatever is driving you, write it down and have it in your face, so that each time you're sitting down and working and like you get a no, you look over at that thing and you're like, all right, whatever, I can handle that no. I'm going after a yes because I want that, right? So number 9 is reachable goals are shared. I think this is a really important one, because a lot of us, we make these big goals for ourselves and we're kind of shy about it. Like we have some kind of self-doubt and we don't want to share them with other people. When we did this training, I was really nervous, but I sat down with my husband and I shared, my vision statement for us, as not just for me, but like for us as a family and us as a couple. And that was scary to me because, he makes a lot more money than me. And, these things are not far-fetched for him. But like for me, coming as a yoga teacher, these things are kind of crazy for me to say out loud. But you need to say them, right? You need to say them to especially your partner, because they need to understand why you're absent sometimes, right? Like when you're on these calls late at night, they don't get it, right? They don't necessarily understand it. Maybe they're signed up as a coach or they're working the business with you, that they might get it. But for those of us whose partners have nothing to do with this business, they don't understand, right? You need to let them know where you want to go with this, so that when you're crawling into bed after they've been asleep for like an hour or two, or, why you can't watch those TV shows that you guys used to do, like it makes sense to them. They understand. At the same time, it's really important to share these things with your kids too, right? So, one of my goals is, I want to pay for one of our Disney cruises. And for those of you who've ever been on one or looked at it like that, those babies are a lot of money, right? But I want to do it. I want to write that check. I want to be the one to pay for it. So my kids know when I say to them, Mommy's got to work. And my 5-year-old will be like, to go to Disney? And I say, absolutely, to go to Disney. My kids know why I'm not present 100% of the time is because I'm doing things for them, right? I'm doing things to make us money so that I can do extravagant things for them, because I want to be able to share that time, but I might not be able to share that time right now. So it's really important, even though they're little, they might not get all of it. Like you tell a kid, I'm trying to go to Disney, they're gonna be like, all right, go for it, Mom, go for it, Dad. Share that with your spouse, with your kids. And even more importantly, tell those people who doubt you what your goals are, because they want to be able to tell you if you fail, I told you so. But it's even better when you succeed that you tell them, I told you so, right? Let those haters, those people that have all these criticisms, people who don't believe in what we do, they think we're a pyramid scheme, whatever, all that crap that we hear all the time. Tell those people what your goals are, so that when you nail them, it's kind of like, I told you I was gonna succeed at this. You don't want to hear it from them. You want their doubt in you to push you a little bit further, right? So they're going to hold you accountable, just like we will, like your team will. The haters almost hold you more accountable because you don't want them to be able to rub it in your face. And then number 10 is reachable goals are consistent with your values. So if you are a member of a church, right, you see a lot of the top coaches are giving money back to their churches, or they're doing extravagant things for their churches. Whatever it is that lines up with your values, make sure that your goals are in line with that, right? You don't want to have them conflict, because then you're constantly going to be in conflict, right? So for me personally, we belong to church, but I'm not like a huge church goer. But what I do strongly believe in is giving back. So for those of you who know my story, my father passed away of ALS, and we have a foundation here called the Les Turner Foundation that provides free treatment for ALS patients, right? They did so much for my family and for my father, giving us all kinds of free machines to help care for him, the aids that would come, all for free. When I start making money, I'm giving back to that foundation, right? That's where my side cash is going. So after I put a chunk for my family, like I'm giving back to that, because that lines up with my values. People took care of us. I'm giving back to help take care of others who are in that horrible predicament. So you want to make sure that your goals, those reachable goals, are lined up with what your values are, right? Don't just say you want to do something because it looks good, right? Or it sounds good to somebody else. Make sure that it actually like touches your heart, right? You want it to be legitimate and authentic to you. So those were mine. Number 6 was rational. Number 7 was tangible. 8 was written or typed if you're Greg. 9 was shared, and 10 was consistent with your values. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a homework assignment. We had you do those vision statements, right? We had you kind of plan out what you want from this business. What I want you to do is really go back with a fine-tooth comb and look at those vision statements and make sure that they're specific enough, right? Take all those 10 things that we talked about, right? Can you taste those goals? Can you feel it, right? Are they consistent with your values? Have you written them down? Are they like posted all over the place so that it drives you? Have you shared it with your spouse or your kids or your haters, whatever it may be? Right? Really go through with what we talked about tonight and see if it lines up with your vision statement. And then get super detailed on what it's going to take to get you to those visions that you have for yourself. Okay, so if you want $1 million home, right? Find a picture of the house that you want. Don't just say like in my mind, like I want a nicer house. No, go online, look at pictures, find a picture, or if there's a home in your hometown that like you always drive by, you're like, oh God, I really would love to live there. Look it up and see how much that house is, right? And then go backwards. This is where the emeralds do really well. Like when we did this training, the guys were like all over this and my brain was like blowing up. I'm like, too much. But go backwards and figure out what you need to do in order to get your butt in that house. How long is it going to take you to get in that house? How many coaches do you need to add per month, right? How much money do you need to be making? How much volume do you need to be turning out so that you're getting those cycle bonuses? Figure out what you need to do in order to get there. If your goal was to, if it was smaller, right? Because that's kind of that's like a Greg goal, right? For right now, and that's where he's shooting. But like for me, one of mine, like I said, was to go on this honeymoon with my husband. So what I did is I figured out, I looked what kind of romantic places in San Juan, right? And all these hotels pop up. So now I find out how much it's going to cost me to spend a week there. And now I go backwards and I figure out, okay, so in order to get that number, I've got to add this many coaches. I've got to get this kind of volume running. You got to figure out the numbers in your head. And for those of you who are like me, that's kind of like mind blowing. So find an emerald like Greg and be like, can you help me with my math? Because, those who know me know my math sucks, but you got to do some math here to figure out how to get there, right? You have to have that plan in place, that path and that vehicle telling you where you need to go. So that's your homework. Go back through those visions and figure out, make them super specific, post them the heck all over the place. Share a picture with us of what one of those pictures that you have is, like one of those dream goals that you have somewhere up in your house now. And then share with us what you need to do in order to get to at least one of those goals. Because we'll hold you accountable. And I know like people start like breaking out in a sweat that they're like going to post these big goals out there. Do it. It'll hold you accountable. It might make you sweat a little bit, but you're not going to die. You're not going to pass out. It will make you work harder. It'll make these long nights or these early mornings worth it, right?
Yeah, for me originally, up until this year, my goal was to be able to leave the corporate job, right? So I had to know in my mind, how much would it take for me to make with Beachbody, for me to feel comfortable of walking away from my corporate job. And then I worked to get that, So that's what you guys need to do. It's like, is your big dream to stay home with your kids, or is your big dream to go on a vacation, or, what is it? So like Lisa said. All right. Any other questions about goal setting or about anything we covered this week? You can take yourself off mute. Sharon, are you trying to take yourself off mute? I can help you.
Okay.
Okay, you're off mute.
Great. I'm wondering, because I didn't get anybody in the Coach Sneak Peek this month, but I have some people that I think are interested in for the next one. So what's the timing? Is there going to be one at the beginning of October?
Yes, we have one at the beginning of every month, the first week of every month. But honestly, I wouldn't wait.
No, we'll sign them up. It's just, okay. Yeah, you're right. That's for people who are still thinking about it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even if you had somebody who was interested, like I said on my video this week, I would get them on the phone. And if you're not comfortable talking to the person yourself, then ask your upline diamond to hop on the call with you. You can do a 3-way call with a person. I do this. I offer this to my coaches all the time. And so the great thing there, just for you guys, who are very uncomfortable with talking to people on the phone. Lisa used to be this way. She would never talk to anybody on the phone. And yeah, I broke her of that habit.
Sure did. Now he's got me on these damn calls every day.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're afraid to talk to somebody on the phone, just ask your upline diamond. I'm sure they would be more than willing to hop on a call, like a 3-way call with you guys, or a Zoom call or whatever. And, all you have to do is introduce the person as an expert. Your friend trusts you, and when you are introducing that diamond, they'll explain to your friend. So basically they show you how to do it the first time. And then the second time, you can still have them on the call, but then they kind of watch you do it, right? And then the third time, you could do it yourself. So if you're uncomfortable, you could do that. But I just recommend, just talking to them yourself if you're comfortable with it. And you'll make mistakes in the beginning, but you'll definitely get better every time you do it.
Okay. Thanks.
Who else?
I have a question.
Yep.
So I spoke to Lisa about this earlier, but I have 2 people that asked me to email them information about coaching, and I sent them like a short email. I was like, hey, I don't want to send you too much, but basically this is what it is. If you have questions, let me know. But what do you normally send to these people in those emails where you're not like word vomiting everywhere and writing 5-page novellas to them?
Well, like I said in my video, what I will typically do, now you could, as a suggestion, you could send them the webinar with Lisa and I, but what I typically do is I want to get them on the phone and close the deal right then, so I will send back to them. I would love to talk to you about coaching and answer all your questions, and, we could just, tell them, it won't take long. Do you have any free time this week? And I guarantee you they'll probably come back and say, yeah, how about Thursday evening, or whatever. And you just get their phone number and call them. Now, if they really, if they hem and haw and they're not interested in talking on the phone, then I would send them the webinar, The problem is if you just send them that webinar, what's that?
They're completely like new to Beachbody 100% though. So it's basically starting from like scratch. And so I'm scared if I use like terminology we use or some, they might not be familiar and they'll just be like, oh, this is way over my head, forget it kind of thing. And I guess that's why I'm more worried to send them where we're throwing out all this Beachbody stuff when they don't even know the basics.
Right. And that's, again, why I recommend talking to them on the phone, because you will get that feedback from them right away. And they're going to ask you a question like, well, what does that mean? And then you can just break it down for them. I typically, when I get them on the phone, I start so basic, and I always start with my story, it's like, okay, you've heard of forming, right? FORM, Danny Johnson, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and then message, right? So whenever I get anybody on the phone, I always do that. So you want to get them comfortable first, right? So you want to get them talking. So you have them talk about themselves, So I would ask you about your, where do you live? Oh, do you have kids? How long have you been doing the Beachbody program? What do you do for an occupation? Oh, you're a teacher, so you work with kids all the time, and so you get them chatting, right? And then when it comes time for the message, then you say, so I understand you're interested in more information about Beachbody. What can I answer for you? And then you kind of let them talk. They're like, well, I'm just interested in, the discount for it. And then you can talk about the discount, and typically I will always go over just the benefits of being a coach, right? It's like, yeah, you can save 25% on, or, $32 a month just on that Shakeology. But, it's like, I'll tell them, I get to go on a free trip with Beachbody every single year. It's like, there's so many great perks. I get to go work out with Shaun T like 3 or 4 times a year. I tell them, that I can refer friends and family and make commissions off of them, like 25% commission. And they're like, oh, wow, really? Oh, can I do that? I was like, yeah, we run, these challenge groups that you're in, we run them together with our coaches, with my coaching team. Is that something you'd be interested in doing with us? Yeah, I would, So, by the time I get them off the phone, they're ready to sign up right then, And so then I tell them, in order to sign up, you need to get a challenge pack. Okay. Yeah. What's a challenge pack? It's easy as that. Because if you give them a 1-hour webinar, most likely they're not going to understand it. They're going to have questions. Then they're going to come back to you, and you're going to end up getting on the phone with them anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted what Greg said. What you're doing there is you're sharing this lifestyle of coaching. You're sharing your experience. People don't want to, most people in that situation, they don't want to hear X's and O's. You don't want to sit there and spew out, like you said, terminology. Well, yeah, you earn volume, and then you get coaches, and then you hit Success Club, and then they want to hear you. How do you feel about coaching? What has it done for you? What is it like? And it's, that's what they're going to care more about, that experience that you're giving them. And it's almost similar to if you're talking to somebody about Beachbody products and, size or they have nothing, they don't know anything about Shakeology. Well, you're not going to go off and list every ingredient that's in Shakeology or this. You're going to tell them how it affected you and how, what it means to you. And like, wow, I take it every day because it gives me this energy and it does this for me and I sleep better and all this stuff. And the same thing that I coach because I love meeting people and talking to people and helping people. That's what we do as coaches, and it's so exciting. Every day I get to meet somebody new and we run, like Greg said, we run these things, these challenge groups that are so fun, give away prizes. They're like fitness parties. And when you become a coach, you're involved in our team, which is so awesome. We do this and we do that, so that's what you're doing. And when people hear that, they're like, wow, this sounds pretty cool. And then like Greg said, and then you go for a little bit of the X's and O's after that.
Yeah, I talked to my coach that I signed up today, Sarah. And one great thing about getting them on the phone is you can figure out, just by talking to them, going through the form process, you can figure out their personality type. So right. I can tell whether they're a pearl, whether they're a sapphire, whether they're an emerald. Now, Sarah, I could immediately tell that she was an emerald because she had already downloaded and read the entire PCP, Coach Policies and Procedures. So all 50 pages. She's a legal secretary, okay? So, obviously I needed to go in detail with her. How do you make money? What does a binary tree look like? How does, being in my organization is going to benefit her? I had to go through all that with her. And obviously, going over that in email would just be like nuts, right? And I wouldn't even know what kind of information she was looking for, So, and then you can tell like, somebody, like you might be more interested in the sapphire aspect. Like, is this going to be fun? It's like, yeah, it's going to be fun. I get to go to Summit every year and, we get to have parties and we get to have these team calls and hang out and laugh and, stuff like that. Make sense?
So I need someone on the call with me.
I'll get on with you.
Do it.
it's hard for me to sell when I'm still building. So it's kind of like, yeah, I know a guy that did this and I'm over here, but you know, maybe one day I'll be there, but right now just kicking it. So like,
No, not really, because people want to know what you're doing and they want to know your experience, right? So if you're only, let's say you're making $100 a month, that's, you know, that's great. You know, people that, how many people that you know would like to be making an extra $100 a month just by working out and posting on Facebook, you know? A lot, right? So you can say, you know, hey, I just started, but I'm already making $100 a month and I'm getting my Shakeology paid for, you know? So, and like, you know, if they want to talk to someone more successful, then yeah, just invite Lisa or whoever else, you know, you want on the call with you.
okay. Thanks, guys.
Yep. I had a girl this time who wanted to come to my sneak peek. She was really pressing me hard for, could she make $2,000 by Christmas? No, a month. $2,000 a month by Christmas. Yeah, right. And I said, sure, anything is possible. I said, you know, personally, in 6 months, I was not making $2,000 a month, you know. But I said there is a lot of people in this business who build faster than I did, you know, who are a lot more successful than I did in a lot less time than I took. So yes, it's possible, but it really depends on you and how much you want it, how much time you're willing to put into this business, and how much you already know. You know, if you know nothing about social media or marketing or attraction, you know, then, you know, it's going to take you longer than, you know, if you already have all those skills, then, you know, then yeah, you could probably do it. So anything else?
Notice how we've already gotten to that core group of people who are on every single call.
Yeah, so out of, what is it, like 100 people, how many people we have in the group?
I don't know, but I can tell you which are going to be cutting diamond.
Yeah, out of 100 and some, we get, you know, 20 people on the call, 18.
But same faces every time.
Yep.
We know who our diamonds will be.
Yeah, 96 people in the group. Yeah. And then if you look, I can look at the recording and see how many people actually watch the recording. And it's, you know, it's not even as many people on the call. So yeah, you know who the dedicated people are and the people that are going to hit diamond. So even if you guys do not hit diamond in this, you know, this 6 weeks, I mean, you're dedicated, you're here. You are going to hit it eventually. You know, that's the way it goes. As long as you stay dedicated and you stay attending calls and stuff like that, you stay plugged in, you are going to hit diamond. I guarantee it.
I'll tell you that I used to not go on team calls, and then Greg called me out publicly. You called me out like on the team page. I have not missed a single call since then. I mean, I sent my husband tonight to curriculum night, which mothers know we don't ever do that because I guarantee there's no information that just came back from curriculum night. But my business flipped when I started making it a point to get on these calls, even if they are inconvenient, even if I'm on them every single night. Sometimes I'm on 2 a night, and my husband's like, I don't even know who you are anymore. Like, I don't get to see you. But like, my business has made a total change because I make it a point to get on and listen to people, right? It's important to be on these calls. I say it to my team all the time, but I know which ones, and they're here right now. I know which ones are going to be on those calls, and I commend you guys because it's always the same faces. Even I even know like Brian's coaches, I know Greg's coaches, I know which ones are going to show up. I commend you guys for showing up week after week. It shows your dedication, and it will be reflected in your business. If it's not today, like if like last month was one of those months where it was dragging for you, I guarantee that if you stay as committed as you guys are right now, you will see this reflected in your business. I promise you that. So keep showing up.
All right, guys, we'll wrap up. Won't drag it out too long. All
I
right.
had my 20-minute speech planned.
Did you? All right, we're cutting it off right now.